So somebody has to continue to run PRE because if Dolph ain't there, who's gonna run PRE? Who's gonna be the person that's pushing all the promotions? Who's actually scheduling all the stuff, making all the phone calls? It was all independently through Dolph. So now, if somebody can't do the same kind of work ethic and do the same kind of jobs that Dolph did and getting the brand out there, making sure PRE artists are always booked, making sure the reputation stays good, if they can't find a replacement to do that, then somebody's gonna have to think, is PRE gonna have to get sold? Are they gonna have to sell PRE just because no one can really replace Dolph? Like how can you replace somebody like Dolph, Like there's not a lot of people out there like him. And so that also means there's not a lot of people with his talents and his skill set, his work ethic, the way he does business and the way he can communicate to people, form relationships to actually make business happen, to have people trust him, to have loyalty, to have support in your own community. These are rare things to find that I'm listing. Dolph had all those traits. So who is going to step up now to take over PRE with those same traits? If they don't have those characteristics, it's a downhill from there. And currently the situation is the vice president of PRE is Daddy O. And if none of y'all know, Daddy O is Young Dolph's mentor from when he was young, when he was real young and in the streets trying to get out and finding a way to get his music career going. Daddy O was the one who came to him and gave him the proposition and said, hey, you could do this or you could do that. You could do this with everybody else or you could do this and I'll help you. Now, we don't know what Daddy-O wanted in return through all this time for helping Dolph, for helping his music career. But one thing we do got to keep in mind is the man did help him when other OGs didn't want to help. But due to the fact that he stays out of the limelight so much, we really don't know a lot about the man other than what you see in his picture and what you could get from face value in some of the interviews. But we really don't know a lot about his character like nowadays, this year. We knew he was nice to Dolph back then when he helped him get the music career, but did at any point Daddy-O come out at any time throughout all the years on any kind of funny stuff? And so that's what we kind of need to kind of research and bring to light. Like, Daddy-O hasn't spoke about the situation, so he could still be hurt. He might be he's on Dolph's side, um, allegedly, but we can't rule out him because of the fact that he's got a certain position in PRE where if something happened to PRE, he's getting all the cash now. So it's up in the air. Like, do y'all think that if the vice president of PRE, if he's getting all the cash from the PRE business, would they decide to sell it? Is Daddy O gonna sell PRE? Because it's not Mia J who gets that in the estate. The will doesn't say that Mia J gets PRE. Matter of fact, PRE is supposed to go to Dolph's son, and so is the properties. And the fact that Dolph's son can't run PRE and Daddy-O as the vice president still gets to make a decision on who is the person that gets to have the power of attorney and having the decision making for PRE. Daddy-O is still the decision maker. He could sell it if he wants to, but remember, he helped Dolph throughout all these years and he just hasn't spoken and we don't see him in everyday videos. So we really don't know if dude had an alternative motive. People have ulterior motives all the time. Like, they help you now and then at some point, once the money start coming in, they change and say, hey, once X amount of money comes in, I'm going to definitely quit. Once I get this much money, I'm going to do this thing that I always wanted to do. Now, unless some people say, hey, if if I could get this person out the way, I could get so much more bread. You know, if we don't know the percentages that Daddy O was getting from Dolph, like all these details are really, really classified. It's only two people that know it, Dolph and Daddy O. And it's not in their phones, it's in their head. See what I mean? So this when you're talking about a relationship between two street guys who are now business partners, and became successful and now have legitimate businesses, they have a lot of secrets and a lot of things that they can't even write down due to the fact that you just have to keep it in your head. Like, this is something that you always need to know your percentage, how much you're getting paid. Like, how many people off the top of their head, if you got a regular job, can say they know their hourly wage? Type it in. Like, people will be like, oh, yeah, I get paid 15 an hour. I already know that. So, Daddy O and Dolph, they already know the rates, the percentages, your pay. That's the kind of stuff they keep in their head. And it's only in the paperwork that Daddy O keeps in his office that's signed. Nobody else can look at that. Mia J can't look at that. Not even Dolph's lawyer can see that. Because you do have to realize that when anybody has a business, like for example, PRE is a business. It is a different entity than anything related to Dolph and his social. So you can't the lawyer can get anything related to Dolph and his social, but he can't get anything related to other entities. You need a business attorney for that. And so that's why, somebody, we're requesting interviews from Daddy O, but it's really hard to reach out to Daddy O. So he hasn't returned any of our calls back or messages about getting an interview set up. But we're going to try to talk to his assistant, or if he has some kind of representation, to see if they could give a formal statement just on behalf, or like all general purpose media. That way we could, spin around and kind of break that down and see what they really mean by it. But it's interesting to know, like, Daddy O and this whole situation, he helped Dolph bring up PRE to the level it is. And once now he became vice president of PRE, if he's gonna have to sell it off, or did he kind of have a hand in the distribution deal? Did he have a hand in, doing the deal with that one company they was merging with? So that's the kind of answers and questions that are really the ones that need to be brought to light. And if Daddy O ain't got nothing to worry about, then yeah, just come on ahead and go ahead and speak to us. So all the CEOs out there can get all the information. So we really just want to get justice for Dolph, get to the bottom of this. And I'm still out here showing my support for PRE. Rest in peace to Dolph, the whole family. Everybody's still grieving, but after a certain amount of time, the grieving can kind of come to a, you can find other ways to grieve, but you do have to at some point speak on the issues. You do at some point have to come out and clear your name like Daddy O. So until then, we're just going to keep reporting. Come back tomorrow for another update. This is CEO Media. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll get right back on you on the next one.